Hello my YouTube friends. Welcome to my channel. This is Golden Truth Tarot and my name is Bora. Okay, my friends, finally the time has come for me to officially introduce myself for all my audience that speaks English. I know I've done an introduction before, but that was for my Albanian audience. So here I am. My name is Bora, and it's spelled B-O-R-A, and it means snow in Albanian. I'm going to try to talk a little bit about my upbringings, also my life in Albania and my life in the United States, and kind of mix a bit of how I first got introduced to spirituality and talk about my upbringings as well. Okay, so I was born in Peshkopi, in a small city in Albania. Then my family, when I was 5, we moved to Tirana when we spent the next 20 years. And I think the first person that introduced me to spirituality was my grandmother. She had a different profession before herself, and for her family and friends, she would do divinations, okay? And she would do that through reading the coffee mug, the remains of the coffee mug. So the way you do it is different. It's a different type of coffee than the American one. You don't drain it. So it's very finely, very finely blended. And you mix coffee with sugar and water. You boil it, you pour it on a cup, you drink the coffee. Usually it's supposed to be like the inside is supposed to be white of the coffee mug because it's clear. You can see the patterns better. So once you drink the coffee, all the remains of the coffee in the bottom, you spin it, flip it upside down, and once it dries, you can see all these different patterns inside the mug, which is very interesting. And a lot of people, especially in the Balkans, I think Middle Eastern, do it too. They can do readings, like divination readings through the coffee mug. And my grandmother was very, very accurate at that. She had a lot of friends and, friends of friends of friends that would come to her for divinations. And she was well known in our community. But I never knew how she did it. As a child, you don't really pay too much attention. Sometimes I will look at it and I will look at her mug, or sometimes I would ask her to like predict my future, and we'll just have fun. But I personally, myself, even to this day, I can't really read the coffee mug. Like I don't think I have that skill that she did. But she kind of introduced me to divinations and spirituality. I remember from a very young age, she would take me with her every time she would go and get readings done from other people. And I remember this one time we went to this lady. She was a very old lady, and she was reading my grandma's coffee mug, and she said that this little girl is going to be important. She's going to play an important role in your family. She's going to be well known. So I think my grandmother gave me a little bit of a special attention for about a week or so, and that kind of everybody forgot about it and didn't really pay too much attention to that, and we kind of moved on with our life in a way. And yeah, so she introduced me to this part of spirituality, but I didn't really see tarot till I moved to United States. I didn't see tarot in Albania. It wasn't that popular. Maybe it's more popular nowadays, but when I was growing up, it wasn't as popular. It was mostly coffee, divinations. So then I went to high school. I was very artistic in high school. I would love to write poetry. I published a book with poetry when I was 18. I wrote music, like lyrics. I even made a music song, which I don't know what happened to it. I have no records of it. It's gone. It was in an old computer. But I can't sing, but I can write. I can write poetry, and that was just a failed attempt for me to use my lyrics into a song that I wanted to make. It was kind of like a love song, and yeah, and then I was also good with drawing. I would make. I mean, my drawings are not really. I haven't practiced in a while. In high school, I used to be way more artistic, and I'm gonna get to that part. But yeah, I was so inspired, and I thought at that time, funny enough, but when I was in high school, I thought the idea of working in an office in front of a computer all day would like terrify me. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. But then I finished high school and it was time for me to go to college. And my parents were like, well, you got to be realistic. What do you want to do with your life? Is it financially worth it for you to even attempt and write poetry or write books or anything of that sort? And so yeah, I ended up, the opportunities were very few in Albania at that time. They didn't really pay, so I ended up going to school for banking. I did banking management, graduated, got a bachelor in banking management for 3 years, worked in a bank for almost 3 years before I left. And yeah, and I felt very like, oh, like that artistic part of me kind of left in a way. I just started studying, and numbers, and everything was numbers, and everything was finances and spreadsheets and excels and all this stuff. And yeah, from that point, it wasn't really what I have wanted for myself from the time I was young. But I continued doing it because I needed to provide for my family and I needed to provide for myself, and it was more beneficial than being an artist. So that's what I pursued at that time. Then I met my husband and I moved to United States. From At that time, we lived in Dallas. We lived in Dallas we spent 2 years in Dallas, and that was a time that it was very, very difficult time for me because I just moved. I didn't have my paperwork yet. There was a time between like 6 months that I still had to wait for my paperwork, for my social to come in the mail. So I couldn't really work. And here I am, in a strange country. My husband was working a lot because he was providing for both of us. And I was just home by myself for like 6 months. No friends. I didn't know anyone, just stuck home. And I decided to get a tarot reading. And so I go to this lady to get a reading done. And the moment she laid down the cards, I felt a connection with the cards. And she started explaining the cards to me. She started the readings, and I was like, okay, I can't see what she's talking about through the cards. So after the reading, I was like, okay, I need to buy a deck for myself and actually start reading about tarot. I'm very curious. So I started reading, I started buying books about tarot, studying them. I started doing my own divinations for myself. I started, doing readings for myself and my friends. And I've also mainly relied on my dreams for the future. So I've always had like very, very strong dreams. They're very kind of mystical, kind of cryptic, and they're very short. They're like flashes. They're not long dreams. But for example, I'm gonna give you guys an example of what I mean. When I was young, and was when I was like really young, I had a dream like I was in this beach and it was very sunny. The sand was white and clean, and the ocean was very, very clean. The sun was shining, beautiful. So then this big wave happens, huge wave, and this covers everything. It covers me, it covers everything. And then somehow I get out of the water, like the water kind of dries out everything. And now it's different. Now it's nighttime, it's cold, it's snow everywhere. And this, but it's also beautiful. Like the moon is shining on the snow. The stars are out. The snow looks kind of like glittery, sparkly almost from the moonlight. So both images were very pretty, very beautiful, but completely different. So in a way, I think that's probably the fact that my life is kind of split in half between Albania and United States. So I think that was kind of a forecast of what was gonna happen, because I was very young in my I don't know, maybe 12 or 13. But people don't really believe you when you tell them that you have dreams. They don't really believe you. So I kind of kept it to myself. I never really shared it with anybody, and like or tell people. It was mostly like my thing. If I had something very important happening in my life and I had to make a decision, if I had a really good dream, then it would have been something really positive. If I had a bad dream, it would have been something, or it wouldn't have come true. So that was my kind of way for me to mainly predict my future and to know what was going to happen. So I started just learning tarot. In the meantime, I kept doing office work. Same, even when I moved to United States, I worked at Victoria's Secret for like 2-3 months, and then I worked for an Italian tile company doing their paperwork, invoices, all that. Then I worked for another financial company. So it was just all the same. And I got to a point when I'm like, oh my God, like what is happening with me? Like I'm doing the same thing that when I was a teenager, just the idea of working in an office was like, oh my God, that's not gonna happen. That's not who I am. And now here I am 10 years later doing the same job. And I think when I turned 30 is when it kind of like really hit me in a way. And then the people at my last job were kind of describing me as, oh, Bora is very shy. Bora doesn't talk to anybody. You can't even hear her. She's very introverted. And I'm like, okay. And I will go home and I will think, this is not who I am. Like, this is not who I am. I don't know who these people are talking about, but this is not who I am. I mean, my son is in Gemini. Like, I love to talk. What are they talking about? And so I was like, okay, this is not right for me. And I was very, as happy as I was in my personal life, because I've been very blessed with a loving husband. I have 2 beautiful sons. My oldest is 3 and my youngest is 1. I was still not happy when it came to my professional life and what I was doing for a living. I would go to work, I would be miserable and just not care for it. I just did not care for what I was doing at all. I did not see myself in what I was doing. Plus I felt like I was so confined. Like there was no expression of personality or of who I was. There was just strict rules that I had to follow, and that's it. And I felt like a machine following orders. That's it. I didn't feel like a human being and actually doing something that I cared about. So it kind of became like an obsession. Like every day, like I was like, okay, when I turned 30 especially, I was thinking to myself like, okay, I did all this because I needed to provide for my family, and I went to school for banking because that was the right thing to do, and and it looks good if you work in a bank and you have a future in a bank. That's what looks good, and that's what my parents wanted me to do, and I felt like, what do I want to do? So I started asking myself every day, like, what do I want to do? What is the right thing for me to do? Not what other people want me to do. What do I want to do for myself? So I started watching a lot of like motivational videos, and I remember this one interview. I don't know. It was a speech that Matthew McConaughey gave when he said, if you don't know what to do, then you should just start eliminating all the things that you don't want to do. And eventually you're going to end up with what you really want to do. So that's what I started doing. I started kind of thinking, okay, what do I don't want to do for sure? I love being outside. I love being in nature. I don't like being confined. I don't like having a set time that I have to obey by. I don't like being away from my kids. That was very, very big for me. Dropping them off in daycare and them crying, that was heartbreaking. I know a lot of moms go through this, but it was so hard for me to just drop them off in daycare and have to focus the rest of my day while I was worried if they were going to be okay. And sometimes I would go pick them up and their eyes were swollen from crying all day, and sometimes they weren't even changed, so I know they're not even taking care of them right. So it was so stressful, or they would be sick, and I didn't have enough time off. So now I have to make the decision between, okay, what do I do? Do I keep my job? Do I take my babies to daycare? What do I do? And yeah, that was something that I didn't want to do. I wanted to do something that was the hours were more way more flexible for me to work during the time that my kids were sleeping, or that have a bit more of a balance. So yeah, and I was thinking about it every day, and I was thinking about my grandma, and I will go out and take walks, and I will kind of like, I don't know, like have this I would like kind of hear her in a way, like not hear her because it sounds weird, but like I would hear birds chirping, or you know, or the wind, or, and I would just think about her, like she, I don't know, she kind of made me feel like she was there. Like, I don't, yeah, there's some things that you can't really put into words, but you just feel it, like you just, it wasn't like creepy or weird, or I saw a ghost or anything like that. It was just like feeling a presence. Like, I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but that's the best way I can explain it. It was like feeling her presence. And yeah. And yeah, and I was doing a reading for a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine. And she was like, "Bora, why don't you think about maybe starting doing YouTube videos, doing readings on YouTube?" So I thought about it, and I was like, okay, I don't know. Let me let me think about it. And when all of this happened with the pandemic and everything, I we were home. We were working from home. The kids were home, so I was like, okay, this is a good time because I'm home, so I can work at night or try to do videos at night or something like that. And I had this dream before I decided to start Golden Truth Tarot. I had this dream, like I was in like this beautiful mansion in California. It looked a lot like, I don't know if you guys have seen that song from Rihanna, the Californian King Bed. And it's like very open, and like everything is so white and clean and crisp looking, and just windows everywhere, like the whole wall is window basically, and there's light coming through through the windows, and through everywhere there's this light, beautiful light coming. And there was this Japanese lady that was wearing white, that she was showing me the room, and then she walked me outside in the garden, and there was another Japanese man with a little boy that were both wearing white. And then I go outside, and it's so beautiful, like it's just green everywhere. There's leaves, not flowers, just green. I remember a lot of green, like a lot of trees. The grass was perfectly cut green. The sun was shining. It was just so peaceful and beautiful. And then she showed me the way. She led the way, and then she started playing with, I guess, her husband and the son. And that was the dream. And I thought, okay, this is gonna be something good. This is something that, and the green also represents the heart chakra. So I thought this is something that it's gonna also give me like that fulfillment, that sense of belonging, that sense that I'm doing something good, not just money wise, but I'm also doing something good for other people and for myself, and it's going to bring me that fulfillment in my heart. So that's how Golden Truth Tarot started, and that's how I decided to do this kind of green and leaf um, uh, wallpaper. I'm gonna do a separate video when I kind of show my studio a little bit, um, or maybe I will insert a clip on this video at the end to see how it looks. But that's how it started. So I got started with Golden Truth, and then I opened my website, uh, goldentruthtarot.com, when you can also book readings with me. I get so much happiness and joy when finally people that I work with, they're happy. They're happy with my service. They're happy with their readings. They tell me that I help them in a way or in another. It's just so fulfilling. And I just finally feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's why I recommend anybody, if you haven't, because not everyone has a specific gift that you're very talented at. Like, for example, you have a beautiful, amazing voice, and that's your gift that you have. Some people can be confused. Some people, they might not know what they really want in their life and what they're really good at. So astrology has helped me know things about myself, and numerology as well. So by doing my birth chart, by learning about my birth chart, I, I realized that one of the best jobs, best professions for me was being an astrologer. And my north node is in, my lunar north node is in Aquarius, which means that I'm supposed to be talking to people and also being online. So that helped me a lot, and also knowing that in numerology I'm master number 11, which are the people that are more psychic and more psychic and healers. So that helped me. And if you feel like in a way you do not belong, or what you're doing is not what you're supposed to be doing, it's because you're not. It's because you were meant to do something else. So many times I used to, tell my husband, like, I know I'm supposed to be doing something else. Everything that I've done in my life, live in Albania, and then leave in Albania, move into United States, all the sacrifices, all the struggles. I'm not going to get too much into it in this video because it's just mainly an introduction video. But I would be like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Just have an office job, and I know I work for a good company and insurance is good and the benefits are good, but at the end of the day, I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. I don't feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel like a fish out of water. So it was actually not what I was supposed to be doing. So that's why I encourage people to start, especially if you're lucky enough from a young age, to kind of really think about what you want to do with your life, or what you're truly passionate about. Because it took me a good 10 years of doing jobs that I didn't really care for, didn't love, and that I was miserable, till I actually found something that I really loved and I was really passionate about, and that I do not care. I can work any hours of the day. It's not like if you work for somebody else, by a certain time you're like, oh, this is too much, it's tiring. But if you work for yourself, sometimes I work at 2-3 o'clock in the morning and I don't even notice what time it is, because I'm so much into what I'm doing that it doesn't even matter. If it's late, doesn't matter. If it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, doesn't matter at all. I'm like involved into 100% into what I'm doing, and I'm really passionate about it. So yeah, I absolutely encourage any one of you to do that. Oh, I forgot to say, to tell you guys, right now I live in Florida. I've been living in Florida for the past 4 years. We moved here because my husband got a promotion in Florida. So we've been here. I do love it here. It's so nice. The ocean is very close, so I like that. I do like the weather. Summertime, not so much. It gets really, really hot, but the rest, it's amazing. I love it. So the only probably 2-3 months that it's July and August is the two hardest months, and then it starts cooling down and getting much better. But yeah, I love it here. Yeah, let me know in the comments below if you like this video, if there anything else that you want to, I don't know, know about me, you want me to do an actual Q&A. Yeah, leave me questions down below, and maybe I will prepare a separate video when I will just do Q&A and go over some things. Okay, thank you again, my friends, for following me. I'm very grateful for all of you. I see you in my next video. Bye bye. So yes, my friends, this is my studio. I kind of wanted to give you guys a visual. It's based on my dream that I had before I started Golden Truth Tarot. I decided to buy this wallpaper because I love the green, and I love the kind of, it feels like the dream that I had with a lot of green and white, and that's what I liked. And I also, something that I specifically like about this wallpaper, it's, if you can see, it has this like flower. I think it's called hydration, but in Albanian it's called snowflower, if we translate it, Bora. So yeah, my name translates to snow. So snowflower, snow. I figured that was that was meant to be. I was meant to buy this wallpaper if I go by the symbolism of it. Yeah, and I know I haven't really done a perfect job matching the two sides, but yeah. And that the letters were white. I painted them gold, and I put some glitter. I know in some places the glitter is kind of falling off. I tried to do the best that I could with doing it myself, but you know, sometimes with 2 small children, my time is a bit limited. But I have my ring light that I use, and I also have my box light, this one over here. I have my desk. It has gold legs matching the gold in the shelf. They're both from Amazon. If you guys are interested, I can leave the links down below. I kind of want to show you what I keep in my drawers. In this first drawer, I have my incense, bay leaves. I have a journal that I keep. I'm not gonna show you where I write in it, but I'm gonna show you what it says. It says dream, plan, do. And I also have some stones that sometimes I use for meditation. This is green aventurine. This is jade, nephrite jade. This is opalite, and this is black onyx. And this is just for decor. They light up. Bought them at the dollar store, and sometimes I use them for videos. This is part of the microphone. On this other drawer, this is my deck drawer. I have all my decks here that I use for my readings. Let me know if you guys want like a specific video just for the decks that I use in my collection and everything like that. And here I just have some decor pieces. Sometimes I alternate between them and stuff that I use usually for videos. I really love this deck that my husband got for me. It's called Santa Muerte Tarot. Look how cool this is. And I love how it opens. Like, this is the only deck that opens like this. It's really, ooh, the devil. Ooh, that was the first card. Ooh, okay. Let's close that up.
I didn't know that was the first one. I think I gotta mix it and I just put it there. Yeah, I have a little citrine here, and I also have a few of my books that I keep here. Okay, we got this is also something that I made. I got them from the dollar store. If you can't see, they were like just plain wood, and I just painted them gold with glitter, so I use them on my reading sometimes. Just mostly for the visual part of it. And I have my selenite lamp and my Himalayan salt lamp, and another one of these. So yeah, that's about it. I alternate, you know, between the different things that go into the shelves. But that's about it. That's about what I have. And the chair, of course. The chair is a little bit old. I've had that for 4 to 5 years. So I'm thinking about maybe getting a different one. But yeah, this is Golden Truth Tarot. Okay, thank you for following me and for liking my videos. I see you on my next one. Bye-bye.